Well, Glenn, you rightly say it was plan 2 that worked today, and it all worked for Frank Lampard on 34 minutes once he had the courage to take off Emerson and bring on Jorginho.
Yeah, and as I said, bringing him on made it a back four, but also, more importantly, it allowed Kante and Kovacic to go in front of Jorginho. Jorginho played really well here.
Someone in the crowd, I think. Jokes aside, but Glenn pointed out there was a mismatch at the far post, and it always used to be my area, that back post. And when you're playing the zonal, it's so important. So many goals come in that area, and not to have one of your best headers in that zone is a massive error.
And that's all the type of details we were talking about before the game that going forward Mikel Arteta really has to work on. Now then, the big question with Jorginho getting that equaliser is, should he have been on the pitch, Michael?
Well, that is the big question. I don't think there was any question with the first one. Here we see it, the yellow card. I mean, clear shirt pull. Lacazette did pretty well, actually, to keep his temper in check, but no question whatsoever that was a yellow. You certainly know what the Arsenal's players' reaction were after this. They surrounded the referee. I mean, for me, again, it's another shirt pull. I think it's a yellow card. I think it's two yellows, in fact, and a red card. Pull of the arm. Guendouzi makes a meal of it, no question, but you can't let someone get the other side of you and then drag him down. So I think he's a very, very lucky boy.
I know what Tony thinks, so let's
get him off.
No, I thought it was a second yellow. I think Lacazette, actually, being busy and trying to get him sent off, actually does him a favour, and the referee then turns his eyes to him. I hate seeing that, Steve. A player trying to, you know, trying to get another player sent off. We saw another player, I think it was Azpilicueta, actually. I think you should be able to reverse the free kick, you know, if you see that happening. It would kill it. It would stop it there and then. You know, you imagine now you reverse the free kick and Chelsea would get the free kick. But that's a sending off, if that's a second offence. Because if he hadn't have been booked, it most certainly would have been booked for that. So, you know, it's Lacazette that I think has actually helped him by running towards the referee, trying to referee the match. Referees hate that. It's the one thing they can't stand is, I've got the whistle, let me deal with it. And it sort of, his eyes then went off Jorginho, got him off the hook a little bit and said, no, you're having a yellow card, and have been sent off Jorginho there.
2 goals in 4 minutes. What could Arsenal have done better on Chelsea's second goal, Tony?
Chelsea's got back into the game. It's 1-1, and just here, you know, Mustafi's all game they've been going in, pushing in and defending well. He chose to drop off again. This is an old habit of Arsenal been doing week in, week out. They drop off because they're scared. It's fear. If he'd gone in on Abraham, in here, go and that's exactly that arrow, stick him in there, make the foul. You saw Jorginho, you make the foul there. You know, stop him turning, get in front of him ideally and win the ball. But you're on your back straight from that position. And it's a great finish, to be fair. You know,
isn't it?
You can afford to be so aggressive in that situation, can't you? What is the worst that can happen? Yeah. You bring him down and you get a yellow card, I suppose. That's the worst that can happen. Be aggressive. You're 2 against 1. You can actually build another attack there.
I just used to love that position. That's a freebie for me. You've got one spare. I just go and take the person out.
Also, Tony, in your day, and good defending is, Mustafi has to make an individual decision. But if you're the other centre-back and you know I'm on my own, you tell him. You say, go in on him, get tight on him, because I'm spare. I'll swing round and cover you. So suddenly, somebody else is making your decision for you. You'd have done
no
that.
Communication.
You'd have shouted your partner in.
And you're on the side of Abraham to get actually in front and intercept. You know, Kante did it all day.
Yeah.
You know, he won interception after interception. It's the best tackle.
Fantastic. I feel I've been taken inside the All-Stars dressing room. Talking of which, let's get a word from the Chelsea one with their 2 goal scorers, Jorginho and Tammy Abraham. A clever answer from Jorginho. Just a quick one on Tammy Abraham. Everyone's been saying he can't score against a top 6 team.
There you go, there's the answer. I mean, he's so tall, he's got such big limbs that when he got the ball into feet there, the ball is so far away from the defender because of those big limbs. He can take a touch and turn. Defender can't get anywhere near the ball. I thought it was a really good finish from him.
Tony, before the game, we spoke about the size of the task for Mikel Arteta. Has that only enhanced it even more for you?
That's a tough job to anybody, even an experienced, fantastic coach like Glenn Hoddle couldn't do that. You know, it's a really tough job he's got on now.
And when you look at the fixtures up and coming, Manchester United at home next.
And it's all about recruitment, Steve.
Got to go to Chelsea as well in 4 games time.
Man United next, it's another toughie.
Do you expect much movement in January then, if you're talking about recruitment?
I hope that his players and his players that have got a good recruitment policy and good people that he brings into the club. I'm not so sure about Adu. He had 1 year at Corinthians, South America. I'm not sure he knows the European market. I'm very worried. It must be said, the hands of the club, recruitment in the hands of Raul and Adu, and just judging by the last window, we didn't get the appropriate players. We made the team worse.
But Arteta at the moment has got no chance of knowing who he wants to bring in.
No.
He's assessing the players in front of him in his squad now. He's been working at City, worrying about things at City. He's not been looking at players and studying players and videos. So if he buys somebody in January, it won't be his buy. It'd be someone that's been looking elsewhere, how they're ever going to do it. I don't know. It sounds a bit of a mishmash of how they're trying to recruit players now. It really does.
Well, he only played 100 times for Arsenal, and they tell me, Steve Bold told me, that he was 5 years at Arsenal and he spent most of his time with the technical analysts looking at players. He's more coach than he is actually a player, you know, during the 5 years. He's totally obsessed with the game. And if there's a man that can do it, I've got to be a little bit positive here. You know, he's very, very conscientious about the players and the style that he wants. So hopefully he'll have a big say in who he's going to bring in.
OK, big few weeks ahead for Arsenal.
How frustrated will Mikel Arteta be, Robbo, that arguably Jorginho should have been off before scoring the equaliser?
Yeah, it will be. That'll be when he does his post-match interviews. That'll be probably the talking point, what they say.
Might have influenced them not to book him because they were so. I mean, Lacazette was right in his face. He got booked for it. You know, he was right in his face, and I don't know whether he just.
Maybe, but he shouldn't, should he?
No, listen, it was a mandatory booking again.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's consistency, isn't it? There's inconsistency in bookings. But I think Andy's bang on. The reaction of the players is probably what stopped him from getting a second yellow.
Yeah.
He generally thought.
And it should have been.
It should have been. Yeah, 2 yellows. And there's no use talking about VAR because they can only get involved in red cards, straight red cards, not 2 yellows that would, obviously. So it doesn't get involved here.
And then Jay Leno, who
Jay Leno.
used to host the Tonight Show with more success than he kept goal today.
He's misjudged it, and he's gone with one fist. Jorginho's around the back.
If he goes with 2 fists, has he not got more momentum and more chance of knocking everything out of the window?
You can't get the same height.
It's still too high, but he's flapped 2 or 3 times today, wouldn't he?
He's flailing at something, trying to get a touch because he's completely
At what point does he
misjudged it.
realise I'm in trouble?
Probably about when the ball's 4 or 5 yards away from him. He knows because you can see him. He's gone out on an angle and then he just stays there and he just jumps to try and get something on it. And 9 times out of 10, you'll see a goalkeeper in that situation. He'll get a tiny touch on it, which would have taken it over Jorginho's head. But he misjudged it by that much today. He was nowhere near it. It's a bad mistake.
At 1-1, did you feel there was only one winner, Ian?
Yeah, well, I think after 20 minutes, Chelsea took over, and I think they deserved the 3 points in fairness. You know, and
agreed.
As soon as equalised, there's only going to be one winner, and from that on, it was good counter-attack as well. When you look at it, and it was a great finish by Abraham.
If he wanted Willian to have a shot, I thought he gave him nowhere to go for a shot. I actually think he did well, Willian, to take it a little bit wider and then
dig it out.
Eventually open it up for Abraham again. But I was a bit surprised Tammy actually played it when he did. He didn't really give him an
The opening goal seemed an awful long time away by the time that Tammy Abraham had scored the winner for Chelsea today. But Arsenal had led, and they'd led for a long time. So.
I think it'd be harsh.
Players make mistakes.
I think the change of shape, isn't it? The change of shape more than the defender.
Definitely. And that was at a time in the game where, if you remember, Lacazette had a wonderful opportunity to put them 2-0 up. Miscontrolled it. Chance went. That might have made a big difference. Wasn't to be.
You did pose the question to the boys at the start: who's got the bigger job?
I think we've
got the answer.
Yeah, we've got the answer.
Question about that.
Good luck, Mikel.
Very much. So we're off to Anfield. Full card in the Football League today. These are the latest Championship scores. Fulham, a goal against Stoke, who had that dramatic win over Sheffield Wednesday last time out. 1 apiece. We've just seen Huddersfield. Millwall lead against Brentford by 1-0. Nothing yet between Forest and Wigan, who tend to get to half-time okay and then fall apart. Mark my words, they'll lose that. Reading 2-up at Preston. Wow. 1-1 QPR and Hull. Cardiff lead 2-1 at Sheffield Wednesday. Wheels are off, it would appear. Swansea 0, Barnsley 0. Borough leading at West Brom by 1-0. Leeds 2-1 up at Birmingham now. And Bristol City, whose form of late has been poor, they are 2 up against Luton Town. Really big game in League One today is at Wycombe's Adams Park.
Is it?
Yes, where Wycombe, the leaders, the runaway leaders, trail to the Super Sky Blues by 3-1.
Well, let me tell you, Coventry won't win that.
Let's go to Anfield and catch up with BT Sports' Matt Critchley.
Thanks very much. Welcome back to Anfield. If you haven't seen the team news, it's certainly interesting. Just one change for Liverpool, that's Lallana who comes in for Keita, but 4 changes for Wolves from the side that beat Manchester.
2 to go. It's the leaders up next at Anfield against Wolves, and then the champions Manchester City at home to Sheffield United, who are unbeaten, of course, away from home still in the Premier League this season. Huge win in the derby, but also in context of the table for Chelsea. They started the day with just a 1-point cushion from Manchester United, and then Tottenham and Wolves behind them. They now have a 4-point advantage over United in terms of the race for that Champions League, and suddenly they're within 3 of the champions Manchester City. Arsenal have missed the opportunity to get out of that bottom half of the table. 24 points from 20 games is their worst points tally at this stage of the season since the mid-70s.